So you've given the forward for this. Can you read the best part of it?
Yeah, I mean, I'll basically give the essence of the forward rather than reading it word for word. But I mean, the purpose of this book is not to scare you. It's a little scary, but that's because the stories are. But all human beings have a need to socialize. We are social animals. Some animals are not social, but we are. So we have a big need to be part of a community, know people, have lots of friends, acquaintances, all that in our life. But at the same time, we have another need to feel safe, to feel very secure. And I think that's the contradiction, because we want to be out there having a lot of people into our lives, but we also want to feel safe. And that's the balance I think sometimes a young person is not able to figure out, especially when they're young adults, they've just grown up. So, you may have a girl who's like, oh, he's just my friend, and everybody who laughs with her is a friend, or it's a guy who could trust somebody like that. But balancing that safety versus the need to socialize, that's the essence of where the aim is to make sure youngsters try to make the right call. The signs are always there, and that's what it's all about. So that's, I think, when I saw the show and also the stories, it was this only. Mostly it was people who did the crime who and it's just a case of why they trusted them. And I think you have to learn to be careful on who you give your trust to. You can't trust anyone and everyone in life. You should trust, but it doesn't mean trust no one. I would not say trust no one, but that balance, that ability, everybody needs to have. And these days with technology, it's getting even worse, because people can intrude into your lives through WhatsApp, through Facebook, everything, and before you know it, you feel that they are in your life, and you feel like you know them, you feel like you can trust them, but maybe not. There was a case recently in the papers I saw. 19 days a girl had known a guy in Bangalore, and a proper, like, she worked in a software company, the guy also worked in software, he came and he murdered her and left. And it was just bizarre. And otherwise, without Facebook, this would have not happened. But it's here to stay. These technologies are here to stay. So we have to learn to how to manage them. It doesn't mean that someone presses a like on your picture, they like you, or they can be trusted. It can be very different.
And also, I think we have to keep in mind, especially as women, especially as young women, especially women who are going out to work, out to study. It's not like the olden days where, I remember my mother or my grandmother, she never left home without someone, like her brother, her father, someone going with her. But now we don't want that. Even as young women, we want to be independent. We want that freedom. But there is, we have to be careful. And our safety is in our own hands. We can't blame the government or the CM and the media and ye hua ki wo hua. No, our safety is in our hands, and we have to take precautions. I remember when I was in when I was in business school, I lived in New York, and I lived in Harlem, which was one of the most dangerous parts of town because our business school was close by. And literally at night, I could sometimes hear gunshots, hear sirens going off. And I was a student, and I took public transportation. I was taking the metro, I was taking the buses. And at all times, I used to carry with me pepper spray. It was attached to my room keys. It was attached to my keychain with some pepper spray saying, this is for safety, because, you never know in those underground stations at 2 a.m. or 1 a.m. And you have to be careful. Like, even I live in Delhi, and I feel ashamed to say this, but after 9 p.m. in Delhi, I don't take taxis. I even try not to go out on the streets. If I'm going out for a walk or something, I make sure my phone is fully charged. I make sure someone knows where I'm going. So these are things that we have to, and when we're young, we think we're invincible. We really think that nothing or no one can harm us. But it just takes one incident. It takes one fraction of a second for a crime to happen. So I really think, especially as young women, we have to protect first and foremost ourselves. And that is the message that this book is trying to impart.